naman. Ang buhay ay parang bulong, minsan pataas, minsan pababa, pero lahat tayo'y matatag. Samahan kami, damhin ang vibes sa bawat silipin ng mga buhay. May tawanan, may galit, pero higit sa lahat ang layunin ay edukasyon, kaya't mapakatotoo at sipag. Usapang Samu't Sari, mga aral na kay saya. Baka may matutunan, kayo'y samahan na. Oscar, Reynold, Allen, si Aaron pa.
Okay, you'll have to forgive me because it's our first time going live on this platform. We'll be moving over to the other platform soon, but welcome to our first live podcast. Just bear with us a tiny bit as we figure out some technical difficulties, so do forgive us. But in any case, today we'll be having our very first episode where we'll be tackling the topic of how to handle your very own car rental business. So let me just switch my screen over to the other platform and we'll be good to go. We are the Liwaliw Travels live podcast for Samu't Sari. And let me introduce you to our hosts, Reynold and Aaron, and our guest today, Matthew de Dios. So please do introduce yourselves. All good, brother. Good morning to the U.S. and early morning in the Philippines. But wherever you're watching, live or replay, good morning, evening, day, or night to all of you. Welcome to the first episode of Sir Oscar Cesante's Samu't Sari with Friends. We have a really good topic today because it'll be how to make some money, business. So if you're looking for some extra income, if you're working or not, you're in the right place. We've got some good topics to talk about today, a great guest, and some things to learn. So, why don't you introduce our guest speaker today? Yeah, so our guest today is Matthew, our very first guest in our podcast. Perfect for our topic today on how to start in Turo, a car rental business with Turo. So first things first, let's introduce Matthew. The floor is all yours. Hello, my name is Matthew. I'm from California, USA, and I currently have a car rental business in Turo, similar to Airbnb, but for cars that people rent. All right. Thank you for agreeing to be with us for our first episode. So, as I said earlier, so please do excuse the scuff. It's our first time seriously doing this, and I'm sure that as we do more episodes, we'll just get better and better. So please do watch along and stay for the ride. We hope you look forward to seeing us grow. Yeah, and it seems like we have some chatters already. Hello to Hazel, Arnie, and Sue. Thank you for being with us for our first episode. And I can agree, it's hard when it's live. At least when we do videos, It's easy to cut things out and record. But when you're live, everything's recorded, even your mistakes. But no better way to learn, right? Which is perfect, I'd say, because when podcasting, you get the raw experience. So everything that happens online, when we're live, you'll see it all. So in any case, before we start, let's shout out our viewers with us right now. Nim Sila, thank you so much for watching. I don't see all of you, but don't worry. We know you're there. If you have any questions during the podcast, feel free to ask us. We'll be sure to answer them along the way. And we invite all our viewers to interact and help spread what we do. In any case, though, I'd love to ask you, Brother Reynold, I think we should ask Matthew what exactly this Turo is, the car rental business, since I can assume that he knows a lot about it since he's been doing this for 2-3 years, right, Matthew? Yeah, that's right, 2-3 years. So, let's just ask first, what is Turo for those who don't know? Tell us about what it is. For sure, Turo is an app for your phone. It also has a website. It's like an Airbnb for car rentals, exclusively for cars specifically. So, online only, right? It's just like a platform. It's literally an app. So, let me ask you then. How did you start? Where did you learn this? What possessed you to have a car rental business in Turo? Well, I would say I was always business-minded, especially here in California, but it's hard. You need a lot of money in the bank. You have to buy your own equipment, then rent out a space. It all just piles up. So I thought, what business can I start with what I have? Because that could be a good business. And the first thing that came to mind was an Airbnb. But I didn't want to risk buying properties than renting them out because it was during the pandemic. So there was no real way to know. Then I ran into Turo while searching, and I thought to myself that I have a car, so why not try it out? And yeah, I just watched some YouTube videos. I learned how to use the platform and use my own car for it. I was already using my car for deliveries, DoorDash, Uber Eats, like Grab in the Philippines, Food Panda, that kind of stuff. And my car, too, was really gas efficient. It was a Toyota Prius, and I knew I would save a lot just on gas alone because of it. So why not, right? That is a great origin story. So, next question. Is it easy to jump into? Because you said that you planned to start an Airbnb initially, but you found it risky since you had to buy properties. It was risky, right? So, do you think that starting with Turo, would you need a huge capital? Or let's say, here's the thing. You can't really be sure, right? Because I also tried Turo here in Canada. So I just want to ask if you would need a large reserve of capital, or would your own car be good enough to begin with when it comes to starting with Turo. Actually, I started this business with absolutely zero. No investment or money. But there are requirements in California, anyway, that you should keep in mind. Like needing a good credit score to get a vehicle, for instance. So that's what I focused on. My credit score, which I was able to use to get a car with zero down payment and nothing more. So basically, yeah, anyone can start without needing that extra capital. So let's say, Brother Reynold, I believe that Turo exists only for Canada and the US, if I'm not mistaken, with plans to expand to London, the UK, but I'm not too sure. Am I mistaken on that? Yeah, I believe there is Turo in Australia, though. No Philippines so far? No, but I think there's already an app that covers that there. So, right now, you're about to go 3 years with this business. Whew, that's amazing. That's awesome to hear. So, right now, how many cars do you have? Around 5. And I'm trying to increase that to 7. Wow, that's nice. I actually have 7, but the 2 got totaled. So, yeah, it is what it is. Accidents do happen, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Yes, the risk you can encounter for this business. So, for the 5 vehicles that you have, just help me out here. Let's say that for one, how much can you make for one car that you have? Of course, Brother Reynolds, you have different needs for different cars. Bigger cars like SUVs need a higher rate, which means bigger earnings over time. So, but does it get rented out often? Oh, yeah, good question. So between a sedan and an SUV, what's the range of income for a month's worth of renting? Maybe if you play around with the price and depending on the season, like summer, for example, that's a busy season and people have places to be then. For holidays as well, but a minimum for a sedan in terms of income, maybe $600 or $1,200, give or take. On a sedan, right? So what you do is you post your cars on Turo, and people that are on the platform, whether they're at LA or San Francisco, for example, if they're visiting or have a trip, they'll want to look for rental cars there and book one if they want to have a vehicle for their vacation and trip, So it's a booking service, similar to what we're familiar with then. Yes, and Turo takes a commission from the fee that they charge. Okay, so just to clarify, Turo does most of the marketing. You post your cars on the platform. Then Turo basically does the rest on how they bring those listings to customers. And I believe they have 3 categories for commissions. The 1090 cut, where the 90% for the car owner, and there's also a 25/75, which is a bigger cut for commissions. So 75% of $1,000, for example. So that's a $250 cut for Turo, if I'm not mistaken. But you can choose. So that's what I'm aware of. Yes, so the 25% cut, for example, that would include the insurance for your car. Like if the customer crashes or damages your car, Turo has it covered for that, no problem. Yes, it's part of their platform, so it's worth the risk. In that case, I'm fine with the percentage if it means coverage. Yeah, so if there's scratches, if they mess up the seats or something, walk all over the car, Turo covers those penalties. So, Matthew, I'd love to ask you now about your past experiences because you hear a lot of stories from renters from the US on the risks that they take when they post their cars on platforms like these, especially from America, where there are cases of cars being returned that are totally wrecked. At least in the past, I've been hearing about it, where people have too much fun with the cars, especially if the car is fresh and new, like a sports car. So I've been reading at some forums online where the renters find their cars in random places, abandoned by those who rented them out. Insane. But it was found by Turo, thankfully. So, in your experience, have you had any cases like those while renting? Yes, it was with one of my wrecked cars, but it was with one of my longtime renters, where they rented it for around 2 months. So it was an actual accident then, not like any malicious joyrides or drag races, because you never know. I mean, there are cases of people smoking in the car, but minor incidents for me, you know. Then let me ask you, as an owner, a renter, do you have any rules for any people looking to rent your cars? Any prevention or awareness of what they should and shouldn't do? Of course. The first one is anti-theft. I have a tracking device in the car, which we do inform our customers of the moment they rent with us, like showing them where we have the tracking device installed for their own safety as well, because you never know. They might have the car stolen from them, and that helps their vulnerability as well. Covers our bases. We also have stickers to remind people for no smoking, because we mostly have families renting our cars. And of course, you'd want to keep the cars fresh from any cigarette smells for future renters, especially since obviously not everyone smokes. And for dirt and messes, those are the most common. You can't really avoid them. So just prioritizing car sanitation after renting is always the case. And a little care just goes a long way. Okay, then. Follow-up question for you. Since you mentioned that you got a total wreck, did Turo take full responsibility to give you the same amount of the value of the car? Or, well, if I remember correctly, I believe they gave us 35% more than the car value total is what they paid me. Their guidelines stated, I think. So, to put it into perspective, if the wrecked car amounted to $10,000, they'll add 30 to 35% on top of that. That's a sweet deal. And that's only talking about a wreck. If you need any repairs or anything, Turo would actually still give you money for the days your car is out of commission or out for repair, which is included in the 25% cut that Turo takes from renting your cars on their platform. I see. Brother Reynold, do you have anything to add? Well, honestly, I'm just impressed because you said you started with one car, but now how many do you have? So I now have five, and I used to have four, right? My first year, I had the only one. And that was when I started Turo around 2022 in November. But it wasn't actually until January 1 of 2023 that I was comfortable posting my car there. Again, it was a 2017 Toyota Prius, which was my only car. And I was wondering because 5 days had passed and no one was booking. I thought to myself that this wasn't going to work if this continued. So I asked myself, what was I doing wrong? What was I missing? So I researched on Google, YouTube, and also some Turo veterans. And at first, I thought that pricing was the problem, and also the posted pictures that I had. I then made them presentable. I edited the page. I listed the features of the car, like the navigation, backups, and also adjusted the price because that might have been the issue in the first place. Because when people look up your car and see that you're a newbie, they don't really want to book it. There's 0 trips, which might make people think that it's not a good car because no one has booked it. They don't want to be the first to find out, you know? So in order to hook people in, you have to give them a discount, you know? So it was around January 5, and I still had no bookings. So I edited the page, made the car presentable, adjusted the price, and it was okay since the holidays just finished. It made sense. Everyone's going back to work, and it would be a slow month. So I lowered the price again, and then someone booked it. The first booking was 3 days, right away. Then from the 3 days, it turned to 1 week, and that was it. I thought, like, this is it. We're picking up now. But then I realized I'm renting my car. I have to work. I got nothing to use. And that's when I made the choice to get another car. So I think 2 months? I think it was 2 months. It took 2 months. Or the months after, I think, I chose to get a new car, Toyota Yaris. And that was, I think, no, it was a 2013 model. Used model then. Yes, a used model. But that was 0 down payment and no problem for me. Then the next booking I got was 27 days right away. And I thought that that car was going to be my daily use car since I also used deliveries at the time. So that's when I decided to shift to Turo with the thought that this might actually work. And so the first person to book my new car rented it for 27 days. Yeah, and then I went to research on YouTube since I thought I could scale this up. And that's when I met Sir Oscar. an origin for me. Yeah, because all the videos were in English, so I searched some Tagalog videos and Sir Oscar showed up. Yes. I did do Turo for that time, but at that time you already had 2 cars. Yes. Amazing. And you were able to scale that up. Yes, and since Sir Oscar had a travel agency and we were in touch, I then thought about having my own travel agency with basically me driving my customers to the airport. Just a thought. But then I was thinking, what car would be perfect for that? Since we didn't have a family car. So I bought a van to take customers to the airport and a family car. So for those thinking of using Turo, don't just think about what cars for the customers to use. Also consider what would benefit you, especially since you won't have full bookings all the time for the cars you rent. At least you have something to use in the downtime, right? Like a family car or personal use, extra utility. So that's when I decided to get another van, 0 down payment.
And what van was that?
It was a Honda Odyssey, a 7-seater, right? That's big. It's a 2013 Odyssey, and it's an 8-seater, if I'm not mistaken. So how much does an Odyssey rent for exactly? Our Odyssey runs for a minimum of $600 a day, but it can reach $120 during summer. Summer runs for about $80 to $100 a day.
So that's 3 cars now. Run us through that.
Our minimum rent for a van is 2 days because it's hard to clean. One of the major hassles of renting, cleaning it after.
Okay, so before we recap, let's give a shout out to engineer Lola and Girlie. Good morning. So you started with a hybrid Prius, right? Then a Yaris, then a 2013 Odyssey, which you now rent all at the same time? Is that correct? So you immediately got a 4th car then?
I think so. I believe it was... I bought the Odyssey after... So I got the Yaris after 1 month. Then 2 to 3 months after I got the Odyssey. So in 1 year, I scaled to 3 cars. Then maybe it was around September that I bought another Yaris.
So 2 Yaris, 1 Prius, and 1 Odyssey.
And the number 5 is... Okay, yeah. So the perks of small cars is the low rent, but high booking rate, which basically amounts to a full week.
Frequent bookouts, right?
That's right, Monday to Sunday. But for minivans, they're only busy for the weekends with high rent. The usual days are Fridays to Sundays.
So you usually have no cars for yourself then, if you're fully booked for the week.
And after that, 2024, it was around March of last year, I believe, I was able to get another van, a Toyota Sienna.
That's nice. So that's 2 vans.
2 vans total, 2 Yaris and 1 Prius. The Toyota Sienna that I bought was actually my dream car, mainly because since I'm in San Francisco, I'm 3 hours away from snowy places. So that's when I focused on a minivan that has an all-wheel drive that's perfect for snow. It was an old model as well, around 2012? Yes, it's a 2012 model. Because in Turo, the cars need to be 12 years older or newer.
Well, it looks like my Odyssey is out of commission now. It's a 2005 model. Yes, that's a good requirement. It's even got a sliding door.
But the thing with Turo is that even if the car is old, As long as at the time it's registered with Turo, it's going to stay there. And the mileage shouldn't exceed 130,000 miles. Yeah, my Odyssey is a full veteran now. It's too old. And it was last year that my Yaris was totaled. The first one or second one? The second one. But it was rented out for 4 months straight. So it was totaled and Turo replaced it? Yes, Turo paid me the sum total and the additional. And with the money, I bought a Toyota Prius. Okay, so now you have 2 Prius cars and 1 Yaris then? Yes, so I had Fiat Finance at 0, and what was left from the 2 vans, my first car with Turo was, so it was wrecked. But you got the coverage for it, so. Yes, but not quite. The first Prius I had wasn't actually totally wrecked, but it really needed repairs. Since it was the car I used to DoorDash and Uber Eats, so that car had crazy mileage. I think it was upwards of 200,000 miles, thanks to the rent as well. So I had the engine checked before any major problems. Now I have 2 vans, and I'm still financing, but I have the 3 Prius units. All of them are paid off. Amazing. So what cars are paid off then? Yes, the Prius units are all paid off, cash. That's awesome. So, next question for you then. Is there a way in your time with Turo to coexist another business that's perfect for a renter like yourself? Because you're already deep in it, right? Do you also have a car wash service or something that's related to cars? Well, the first problem we really ran into is where I would end up after everything was done. I'd still end up at a minor loss with having the cars washed after renting, since I wanted everything to be hassle-free. So I had the cars subscribe to a car wash. But since I increased my car inventory, the problem now is cleaning the cars, which takes time. The van was also an issue because we didn't know how to clean vans then. It would take us 2 hours, give or take, to clean the whole van. And it was so much work that I had to ask help from my siblings. The first problem was keeping the water on the car, since we were outdoors. The hot weather would leave water spots and dry it out if you weren't fast. And the second problem was the spills. When families rent, their kids might spill their drinks and leave stains, and we had to deal with those problems so often that our neighbors saw us and started to think that we were doing a car wash. So we had people walking up to us asking if we could wash their car and stuff. Then we realized how good we got at cleaning cars because of this. That our 2 hours would take 40 minutes, and smaller cars now would be even quicker when cleaning. And I'm the kind of person that's very meticulous when cleaning. I'm the type of guy that wants to be spotless when I'm cleaning something. And it just pays off when the customer gives us a rating. They say that the cars are very clean, and it's very fulfilling. So that's when I just started to fully realize and asked my siblings why not just turn this into a business? So you decided to send it. That's what I'm talking about, Brother Reynold. Some people are not trained to find gold, but this is it. You can find it anywhere. And look at him. He found it. That's awesome. So now we do mobile detailing as well at the moment. And we don't even just clean cars anymore. We also clean RVs. Amazing. That's really nice, brother. So we'd like to invite other business owners out there to collaborate with us. No matter what your business is, whether you have a restaurant, a dental, any type of office, really, a massage parlor, a massage parlor. Yes, no matter what business you have, we'd love to hear from you. Any business, we're down to have you here in order to promote here on our platform and to share it as well. We'd love to hear from you. You're welcome.
May edukasyon kaya't mapakatotoo at sipag.